What is divine masculinity, and why is it crucial to completing the lion's journey and transforming our consciousness as men? It's worth taking time to talk about this very important theory and the theories associated with divine masculinity, gentlemen. Originally, this concept of divine masculinity is a very age-old and ancient concept. To understand the force of divine masculinity, or masculinity in general as a force of the universe, we must think elementally. And elementally speaking, we will be able to understand the components of divine masculinity and how those components manifest into various parcels or aspects of one force. I'm going to draw a symbol up here, and the symbol is going to be familiar to most of us. It is the Star of David in the Judeo-Christian tradition. But for our purposes, it is a metaphysical symbol, a symbol that represents balance, even though the symbol takes on many esoteric meanings. For now, we're going to understand it in terms of balance and balance of femininity and masculinity as forces of the universe. Elementally speaking, masculinity is very fire-oriented. That means it is one force that creates and destroys. It's also a force that is defined by its aggression, its ability to direct purposeful, forceful, sometimes rapid energy that can spread quickly and do a lot of damage, and also transform things in its wake. This is fire. This is the fire element. And we see fire in the masculine paradigm as 3 parts to the 6 parts. In other words, half of the elemental energy of masculinity is fire, while the other 3 are embodied in water, earth, and air. Now, what does this all mean? This helps us to understand the manifestation of archetypes. Archetypes are these very specialized individual pathways that masculinity branches out into. They represent the masculine energy and the masculine manifestation of energy throughout time. And what we see these archetypes breaking down to is according to their elements. Usually in a man's life, he experiences 1 or 2 of these, or maybe 3 or 4 over a period of time, depending on how much transformation he has experienced in his life. Because of the nature of masculinity and femininity, he experiences 2 usually at the same time, which is a balance of forces. So a man can be he can be 2 archetypes of fire, or an archetype of water and fire, or a combination of water and air, whatever archetype he embodies. So what are the archetypes? The very first one is a fire archetype, and that is the merchant. The merchant obviously is somebody who embodies that action and behavior of buying and selling, transactions with goods and replenishing goods and divvying out goods to different people in society, making money, of course, the commercial exchange, or businessman, if you will. The next archetype is the air archetype, and that is the Joker, what's known as the Joker. The Joker is usually very unpredictable, usually a character that is often spontaneous, sometimes not really trusted. Somebody that could be also even an artist to a certain degree, okay? Somebody who can entertain others, somebody whose energy is sort of all over the place, and who's very free and liberated in some ways, okay? A joker is literally like a clown in some ways. That doesn't mean they have to embody that of a clown, but the joker is somebody that sometimes uses trickery to make their living or to appeal to others, all right? The next archetype of fire in the north is the warrior. The warrior is, like the rest of these, a complex archetype. This archetype could embody somebody that is a peaceful warrior or more of an aggressive hostile type warrior. These archetypes are not about being good or bad. They're about energy, balancing energy. All right, there's no real moral component to this. It's not about whether one of these is good to be or bad to be. Okay, so don't think of them in terms of that. These are just energetic manifestations of energy, of masculinity. So the warrior is, of course, one who's always prepared for battle, one who trains for battle, and one who's in the mindset of being prepared for conflict. Of course, someone who protects, a protector, obviously a soldier. All right, this is the warrior archetype. The next archetype, which is the earth archetype, is the king. The king is one who is grounded, one who doesn't need to move much. They hold power where they are, in their home. They have 5 kids, who all run around, big family. The king is in the middle of that. The king stabilizes and provides the home and the space where the structure can occur so that a family can grow or a business can grow. Obviously, the king holds court and the king holds power. This would be the position of leadership, a CEO, a president, these types of things traditionally. The next fire archetype is the artisan. And the artisan is kind of a very general and very vast archetype in that it embodies anybody who does something with their hands, a craft, okay, create something, a painter, even a farmer, someone who does, who puts their art and their handwork into crops, a laborer, someone who does plaster or painting, whatever that is, concrete. That's this archetype of fire. Finally, we have the water archetype, which is the shaman, or in our day and age, the priest, or the healer, or the yogi, the master, more of a holy person, a spiritual person, and embodies that quality, all right, priestly. So there you have it. These are the 6 archetypes that were identified traditionally, going way back in time, and see which 2 you embody currently in your life. You could embody a merchant artisan right now, and after your transformation occurs, or during the course of your transformation, you could realize a certain shaman quality, or a certain warrior shaman combination, that emerges from you. So I highly encourage you to check this out, dig further deep into it. Some of these writings, in fact, most of them you can't find online. This comes from the ancient books, going back to books that were even burned, in Alexandria a long time ago. So I'm glad that you are following along, taking interest. This is the nuts and bolts of what we're doing. This is the understanding, the intellect. This is the academic side of understanding divine masculinity and why it's important, and why balance is important. And balance isn't something that we just talk about. It's not something that you just stand on one foot and you're able to do a handstand, or you're able to do this or that. Balance is about understanding who you are and your identity also in terms of balance. And this is very, very important. And knowing that you identify with certain behaviors or one of these archetypes is something that will help you define your path and understand your purpose and understand the reason that you're here, why you were born. All right, gentlemen, take care, be well, continue on, enjoy the rest of the module, and I'll be speaking with you soon after this one. All right, peace.